Brian Cashman, happy birthday, man. Hell of a day. Yankees swept, lose 8-5 to the now first place Toronto Blue Jays. And who would have thought we'd be here? I don't want to say the meme. Jake, I know you love it.
I do.
Jazz, he says we're the best team in baseball. Boone says he doesn't want the guys to be, he wants the guys to be unfazed by what's going on. And obviously you guys heard the news. Clarke Schmidt, he left the game after 58 pitches, I believe, somewhere around there, with forearm tightness. So we're going to talk about all this, but the prompt, why you guys are here. We want to know of Brian Cashman and what he can do, right, to fix this team. And with this news that we have, that we just lost another arm. And Jake, we've brought this up. The volatility of Clarke Schmidt, it's high. It is. It feels like Johnny Lowe, the starter, where if it's not something else, if it's not one thing, it's something else injury-wise. And he just hasn't shown he can be available. And you hate to beat someone up when they're down, but being available is a part of this job. It's a part of all jobs. And now the task for Brian Cashman is not only, what are you going to do to maybe get DJ LeMahieu off second base, who's a statue over there defensively? What are you going to do at third base, right, to get Jazz from that position? What are you going to do in this rotation now? There's so many question marks for this team. And oh, by the way, we're going into Citi Field tomorrow to play the New York Mets, and we're playing some of the worst baseball we've played in about a decade. Jake, how we feeling?
Not great. To be honest with you, I thought I saw the Mets game today as well. Not great at all. I think the Mets are about to kind of get out of their shell, and I've said this. Doesn't even matter if they won today or yesterday or not. They did, but it doesn't even matter, because the way I look at it is that the Mets are going to come to play. They're going to protect their home field. They just lost the first series. We know how the Subway Series is. It's like a movie. I hate that I just said that. It's like a thriller, right? It's a thriller. And it really always is. It's always, it garners a lot of attention. And obviously, since Juan Soto went to the Mets, it's garnered a ton of attention. But I don't really necessarily think, even if they're close games, like, people have to understand, it doesn't matter how the Yankees are losing these games. They're losing these games. It doesn't matter that they almost came back and won today. It doesn't matter that they almost came back and won yesterday. It doesn't matter that a lot of these games are close. The reality is, if you did that in an NFL season and you lost all 17 games by 1 point, you know what your record would be? 0-17. Doesn't matter that it was close.
So there's no consolation prize for you. It's
there's
it's
no
either good enough
mini
or
games.
it's not.
Yeah, there's no mini games. There's no end of the year trophies. Like, oh, they were the best terrible team out there. Like, that's not a thing. So, yeah, I don't feel good going into this Mets series at all. I don't feel good coming out of the the All-Star break, having to be on the road. I don't know if you caught that. They're going to Atlanta, and then they have to go back to Toronto. They never beat Toronto either. So it's...
You can fly these boys to Japan for all I care. If they can't win, they can't win at the stadium. We talked earlier this season about their road record and how excited we were about that. You remember that talk?
They just hit 500.
Right, and it's just all going by the wayside. And by the way, for those of you who are thinking, because certainly there's people who listen to our podcast who are thinking this will change because the Yankees have done this before. Why would you want a group in place that isn't that concerned with it? They just want to look at this as this even-keeled experience, right? And Apex with the Super, Apex, thank you so much for the 2 and getting involved in the podcast.
Thank you,
Boone
Apex.
is a Karen who gives loser son silver trophy. I'm assuming just the vibes. Is just, this is one of many. It's a stretch. And the ups and downs of the season. And I did think the broadcast did a pretty decent job of not just buying into that and feeding us the BS, because they very easily could have done it, right? You work for the Yankees, but they do their own standalone job. That's why our broadcast is so good. But man, when they're hopping on the broadcast, and I know everyone tells us to stop listening to these interviews, but I'm not listening to these interviews to be fed information to feel better. But I promise you, if somebody has a problem, like they're like, hey man, I've got a real issue, I got to go to therapy. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, no, I'm just not going to go. I'll fix it myself. If someone tells you that, you know you're in for a world of trouble. You are. And that's what the New York Yankees are. They're this group that needs to go to They need to go to therapy. And they genuinely will go out there and say, no, it'll work out with time. Don't worry about this, guys. It's just July 3rd. Why are you guys freaked out? We're going to lose 13. We can lose 13 of 14 in July. But by August, if we're playing the brand of baseball that you guys want, you guys are going to be happy. Well, imagine where we would be if we had the ability to play solid baseball throughout the season. Are you going to go on a 2-3 game losing streak? Certainly you will. And there's a fly just flying right in my face. But yeah, it's obviously that fly is a reincarnation of Brian at this point. But I'd be curious to know how many teams in baseball history have had a plus 100 run differential and been behind to a team this bad. Now, mind you, I'm not calling the Toronto Blue Jays a bad team. I actually think they're a pretty solid team. They're obviously well coached. We saw with John Schneider what they're doing. But Jake, this has got to be with a plus 100 for the New York Yankees to find a way to be behind a team in the Toronto Blue Jays that is a good, not great baseball team. This is honestly unique and impressive that the Yankees can play this bad. It's genuinely, Aaron Boone deserves a round of applause. Brian Cashman, they all deserve credit for just how bad this is and how delusional they are trying to sell us this product. This is crazy.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is, did you see what Clarke Schmidt said at the end?
I completely missed what Clarke said. Can you please deliver that for me?
All right, so shout out to Chris Kirschner, at Chris Kirschner on Twitter, put this out there. Clarke Schmidt on the state of the team. Quote, "We're in the thick of it right now. In my career as a Yankee, I think about this happening almost every single year, and it feels like around June and July where we kind of grind a little bit. We're going through it," end quote. That basically, without hit, because I don't think he's trying to get anybody in trouble, but he's kind of pointing the finger at Boone nonchalantly. I don't think he's trying to, but how does that sound to you? Because to me, that's like, oh yeah, we do this every year. And he didn't end it where, keep this in mind. Anytime this type of quote gets brought up, it always has an ending, like a punchline, if you will. Where was the ending? We're going through it. There was no ending. Like, you know what I mean when I say that? There was no, yeah, but in August, in September, we expect to turn it around, or we'll turn it around.
There was no
it's just
we
like,
can't
we're
wait
going through
for.
it.
We usually play great baseball in August, so we just sort of know in winning time we're going to turn that on. Now, mind you, it does create an avenue where players feel like in the postgame they have to walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
But you know what? You wouldn't have to worry about that if you guys came prepared to play. Winning cures all. You don't need to listen to the interviews if you're winning. But when you're losing and it's now a consistent trend, which is exactly what, not just what we've pointed out, like we've brought the numbers up and we've brought up what they looked like in 2024. We brought up what they looked like before the injury 2023 season, even before that. And there's a trend here. So once you notice a trend, the players are like, oh yeah, we just play terrible baseball in July. We were below 500. We were below 500 in June. We now have our tougher side of our schedule in July. And we just kind of know this is the dark days of the season. I'm all for, by the way, teams saying it's a long year, right? You have a bad day. You have a bad 2 days. I can live with that. But to show up, you've been playing bad baseball for about 3 weeks to a month, and then you're just going to roll into July and say, it just tends to be how we play. And now we're going to head off to Citi Field, and our setup man in Luke Weaver, who, I don't know, you could say, most people would say, oh, he'd be our closer. He's getting rocked. Devin Williams just pitched earlier this week. Rocked. Clarke Schmidt, down. Garrett Cole, gone. Oh, but Luis Gil's coming back. And I see that in the Super.
Sucks.
The bullpen, Tim Hill has been dog water. Oh, but he gives up weak contact. He just gave up a ball 200 into the left field bleachers. Daniel, and this is the whole point. Daniel with the Super, thank you for the 5, says, everybody relax. We're adding last season's AL Rookie of the Year at the trade deadline. So for those of you who were paying attention to the broadcast and did watch this game, Luis Gil is at least inching closer to a rehab assignment, and that is a good thing. Obviously, we want everyone to be as healthy as possible, but you guys know like clockwork. When you've got a player who's about to go on rehab in early July, what's Brian Cashman going to tell us at some point? Yeah, when he gets going, we don't have to be as aggressive out there because if Clarke's down, we've got somebody else right behind him. It's next man up. It's not proactive. It's very much so getting in your shell and being just being passive. It's not what we're looking for, I would say. And I don't want to speak for everybody else, what everyone else wants. But for me personally, Jake, I want a manager and I want a general manager who's pissed off about what's going on with the Yankees and doesn't just look at regular season play for a couple of days or a hot streak in August and just write everything and pretend everything's okay. This team has major problems, and it just seems like we just gaslight our way out of making real change, and we just sit in the filth year after year.
No, I think that's fair. And I mean, I wasn't calling for Boone's job, but I'm starting to honestly get tired of him too. I'm getting to the point where, I like the guy, but I need more fire. I understand, maybe that's not your way of coaching, but it should be. When you are now 9 games above 500 and you can see the ship is sinking. The way baseball works is you don't have to lose 6 in a row for the ship to sink. If you start losing series, it piles up. And now you're giving other teams the advantage. Now Toronto is going to have the tiebreaker. So good luck trying to obtain the tiebreaker against them because you also have to go back to Toronto, which you never win at anyway. So I guess really what I'm saying here is that it's time for Boone to kind of step out of his shell. Okay. It's time for him. He's loud, but he's loud at the umpire. I want to see him be loud, towards the media, not necessarily yelling at them, but saying, look, this is not acceptable. Okay. And we've seen him do this before, right? The slamming the table, he's like, our guys are savages and, all sorts of stuff.
It's never
right?
been about expecting more. Isn't it always
no, it's about
the
defending.
Fire? It's defending, but I defend
Volpe.
My guys.
It's defending the Savages. It's defending. It's always about defending. I'd like to see him come out and say, this is bullshit. We can't do this. This is not acceptable. And I will be taking action. I'm going to meet with Brian. We're going to figure this thing out because this is not what Yankees baseball is. And this is not what the Yankee faithful deserves. And
I want to throw up something from our chat, by the way, and before we get to this Michael K conversation, because, it is good. We get to discuss the coverage, right?
And then I do want to talk about, what Brian Cashman might not do about the whole Clarke Schmidt thing.
Let's do that first before we get to the Super, but I want to throw this up, actually, because that's a great point, considering it's the whole video's about. But Jake here with our chat says, absolutely, we need a new tone in the clubhouse, but starts at the very top. And this couldn't be more true. So, Jake, thank you for getting involved and being in our chat, of course. But I'll tell you guys what. The biggest issue for the Yankees is that their tone is very passive. It's very much so that we're just going to look big picture every day. You don't have to build the best lineup for today because there's always tomorrow. And certainly that's a factor, right? You use the bullpen. You use 6 guys out your bullpen one day. You probably don't have... Your starter needs to go length the next day. We understand how those developments work. But as far as building a lineup day to day and the demeanor of the clubhouse, when the demeanor is so relaxed while it's going just horrible, they want us to believe it's them not giving up on the team. Who told you to give up on the team? Let some fans say they give up on the team. We're not asking you guys to say, hey guys, we just suck, we quit. That's not what we want. We want you to come out and be pissed off about this. You'll see one guy and say, hey, did you see, someone literally said, you see Judge, he looked really pissed off in the post game. Yeah, but he didn't say anything that sounded pissed off. He just looked it. He's not saying anything. Nobody says anything. In our clubhouse, Jazz is coming out telling you, we're just a good team. You're a good team? No, we're the best team.
No, Jazz is telling you, yeah, exactly. Best team.
Why are we saying these type of things? The only thing that makes you the best team in baseball is if you can deliver what the best team in baseball would deliver. If you can't deliver those things, you can't say you're that. You're not him. So mind you, I love what Jazz is about. I love the confidence, but then you get into the post game and the first thing you say is, oh, I'm going to show my confidence by watching our 4-game losing streak and then just popping my head up out the sand and be like, hey, I know you guys are freaking out, but we're the best. This is ridiculous. And that's not Jazz's fault. By the way,
yeah, no,
this is leadership's fault.
He's empowered to say that. Because you
Yes.
don't say that unless you're empowered to say that. You know who would never say that? Anybody who was coached by Bill Belichick. Anybody who's coached by Bobby Cox. They're not saying that.
Joe Torre's the manager. You really
Joe
think
Torre?
that Bernie
No.
Williams would hop up on the mic and say, "Hey guys, I know that we just blew a 3-game, we were up 3-0 to Boston. We were the best team in baseball this year. We still believe we're the best team." They would never say that, because the only way you can prove you're the best team is if you deliver every single day. You don't go 162-0, but what you can do is send a message when you get to the field, and the Yankees are sending a message. It's that they're not the Yankees of old. They are something new. I'm not going to call them bums or all this name calling, but they don't have to be exactly what they were in the past. But why are you guys going into your own lane and direction when I guess they're just sort of reinventing the wheel? I don't know.
think
It's
they got to
very
rock the
frustrating.
boat, man. I think they got to trade Grisham, get the most value for him now. But I also think that would do something to the clubhouse. Like, hey, if it puts any sort of fear in the in the fibers of these players, then so be it. I think we need to have that, because I understand I forget who said it the other day. I think it was Kid Reyes. It was like 17 and now 31. It would be 17 and 31 since Cabrera. And my feeling about that is that comes from a culture standpoint. That comes from, like, yeah, you lose a guy like that in the clubhouse, that can really drop you down. And they haven't been the same team since. I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with his play. I think it has more to do with the fact that this team, for whatever reason, is not the same motivationally. It does feel like they hit a wall. And I know it sounds weird, because it's like, wait, you mean to tell me you took away Cabrera and this team faltered, so now if you take away Grisham, they're going to fall off a cliff? I actually disagree. I think they need almost like kind of a reset, like that's honestly
I don't know
how
if
I
this
feel.
is player related, Jake. I really don't. Who hasn't lost a player, right? You just said yesterday, hey, remember Max Muncy? Yeah, he slid into third base and he got banged up. It looked horrible, right?
Yeah.
Blake Snell, remember him? The guy who signed the hundreds of millions of dollars, right? His contract. Yeah, you remember Sasaki? None of it's worked out. None of it's working.
But
They're
I
just
felt
sitting on
like
the sideline.
The momentum definitely shifted since then, for whatever reason, right?
Right.
We don't
I'm not
really
saying
know
that
why.
it didn't, but how is it possible that you lose a player who's closer to a 0 in WAR, and it rocks the boat with your organization, but the Los Angeles Dodgers can lose a player that they probably can say is their 2 in their rotation,
Well,
and they're like,
I agree.
Ready to play.
I mean, this is the same team last year. Remember, reports came out. I forget who put them out there, but it was DJ LeMahieu was going to get DFA'd when they brought up Jason Dominguez, and Aaron Judge and the others stepped up and said, "No, you're not doing that."
Did that actually happen? I wasn't sure if that
I
was
don't know
confirmed.
for sure who reported it, but I do remember it being reported. Here's my thing. I take it with a grain of salt, but the point being is that if that did happen, there's clearly kind of a, like, and again, I'm not trying to say it's all buddy-buddy, because they would have brought back Rizzo if it was all buddy-buddy, right? They easily would have brought back Rizzo. So let's not act like everything is all best friends and everybody needs to go to work with their best friend. But yeah, I mean, in some justification, I think you could say, if you trade away Grisham, it kind of lights a fire under this team. He's definitely a guy in the clubhouse who would be missed. But it's also a reminder that anybody can go. And he wouldn't be going because he's not doing his job. He'd be going because he's in a contract year. And honestly, it might even send a message like, this is what happens. If you guys don't step it up, I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell this team. I am going to go out and I'm going to build up our farm system, because you guys are giving me no reason why I should go out and try and win. Like, think about that, right? So
I mean, I guess so. I just don't
I'm not
even
saying
think
that's
it's the
right.
players.
I'm
I
not
really
saying
don't
that's
even believe
right,
this.
but I feel like regardless, they should trade Trent Grisham while his value is as high as it is. 16 home runs before the All-Star break. Trent Grisham,
you would be selling high. You would
trade
also
him.
be getting rid of the production, and which and they get rid of the production. They're saying, well, with Trent Grisham's production, with the 16 homers, with the ops over 800, we're still in the position that we're in. So why would we want to surrender that? If we do, it may put us in a deeper hole that we can't get out of. That's their perspective. It may happen. And
Jason Dominguez, though, is in a position here where I don't think you could ever sit him again. I think you could really ruin him, because I think he's ready, right? He's that stock that's about to go through the roof and go go parabolic. But if you stop him in his tracks, it could have really bad effects. I think they need to buy into him. He's now hitting 267. He's on an absolute tear, 345 on base. And like I said, I still feel like that power profile is coming. It's going to take time. We saw it with Spencer Jones. But do I care if he's hitting gappers? Do I care if he's running the bases like he runs? Do I care when he's coming through? No, I don't. 4 for 5 today. And it wasn't going to be talked about, really.
Oh, he'll sit.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing. And then another thing I'll say, because I do, again, want to get to the Clarke Schmidt thing, but real quick, what really irked me today is you had mentioned the DJ LeMahieu thing and how he doesn't want to play third, right?
He, at the very least, has suggested that he has a preference to play second base, which is ridiculous. There's no point of even saying it. Just like play where I tell you.
Okay. And so Peraza ends up playing second today, who, if I'm following correctly, was the starting third baseman when Oswaldo Cabrera went down. I follow that, right?
Their logic probably is we don't want Jazz to play second base and then have to go back to third when DJ comes in. Really setting the table for that. DJ is literally being worked around. This player is so important to them that they want to work around this.
Boone literally said, I don't want to keep swapping guys in and out.
What?
Are you kidding me? That's why, by the way. He was asked why Peraza was at second, not third, and Jazz was
Benny
at third
Hanna
and not
says
second.
they don't want to play with their food anymore. Everyone's essentially telling you Jason Dominguez was 4 for 5 today. You just mentioned his batting average is 267. His ops now is 752. He's not
even hitting for power. So
no, he's probably the best total package asset the Yankees have in the lineup at this moment. We've mentioned Jazz and what he's doing, but you're talking about speed. You saw it today. You're talking about getting hits. Everyone's talked about the Yankees just having a bunch of boomer bust 220 guys that hit for pop. Well, what if Jason Dominguez, he's showing of late, I can hit lefties. I'm obviously hitting righties. I've always done that. I did it since the minor leagues. My defense still isn't great, but like we said on this podcast, your defense can be cheeks if you can rake. You go to the Hall of Fame if you can hit. There's been players who don't even touch a baseball glove who are sitting in the Hall of Fame right now. There aren't hardly any that got in with their glove. So we care far more about his bat. And yet, the majority of our comments, and I haven't even gotten a chance to read them yet, Jake, I guarantee you it's filled with people saying it doesn't matter what Jason Dominguez does, because him sitting, and Aaron Boone sitting this player, has nothing to do with Jason Dominguez. It has to do with him saying, we've got a good problem to have, and we've got depth. It will protect his health. That's what they're going to tell you guys, which is why, by the way, and you've mentioned, and I think you're correct, you're saying, let's get rid of Trent Grisham. The reason for that is it shakes up the locker room, sends a message that not everybody's safe. We're still trying to improve. We've got to get better in the infield, and we're going to be proactive about it. We don't care who's out the door and how you're playing. We don't care. And yet, I don't trust how they're going to utilize the talent that comes through the door, because I don't like who's at manager. I don't trust the moves. And on top of this, Jake, and then we're going to finish this off and obviously go to our topic, but they're saying, oh yeah, well, we need to get better over here. We need to get better over there. Well, if you guys are telling me that our manager doesn't know how to use these guys, what does it matter who comes in? Does it matter all of a sudden Moncada comes in and they're like, oh, no, we know the analytics. Moncada is actually better over at first. They'll tell us these new analytics that they have, and we don't know what they're going to be.
Ones that they now have on guys that they've never even had before. I'm sure that's
all of a sudden next. You've got Moncada out there. Moncada will have a 2-hit night, and we're all saying, oh, this is great. We've got a switch hitter who can hit for contact. He's on the base pass. He's semi-athletic. He's fielding his position tonight. We don't have to have Jazz out of position. This is awesome. Then all of a sudden you wake up the next day and guess who's at third base? Oh, DJ LeMahieu. Why is he playing third base? Oh, because we have the body. We have it. Or Peraza would just be out there. They don't have rhyme or reason why they do what they do, which is why it really takes the sting out of the deadline. It really takes the sting out of an early trade before the deadline in early July. So that's what I have to say about that. And then I want to talk though, Jake, I want to segue into perhaps some moves, because I think the most drastic move right now, and this is saying quite a bit, is that Brian Cashman has to figure out a way to plug and play an arm in this rotation. And you mentioned Cam Schlittler and what he can do. The time is now. He's dominating in the minor leagues. This is what you ask your prospects to do. If you earn a job, I'm going to give you that job and allow you to lose it. But if you earn this job and stay on this team, somebody else is going to be sent out the door. Marcus Stroman and these spot starts, they don't have to happen if you earn this job. And yet we still haven't seen that call up. So Jake, what do you think has to happen with Brian? Can he save this? Is he capable? Is he, that man, capable of being proactive enough to save this team? Because this team is free falling.
They are. I think the same way that a player like, say, Zach Gallen needs to get out of Arizona, because just like you can tell, the time is up. He's a free agent after the season. He's having a horrendous contract year. I think if he goes anywhere else, he immediately looks different, right? The same way he needs to get out of Arizona is the same way the Yankees need to bring in new blood. They just do. You can tell. There's this feeling around where when you're losing every day with the same guys that you're going to war with every single day, well, at some point or another, it's like we're the same that we were yesterday. And we're the same that we were the day before that. And then the day before that. And then one idiot's going to stand up and be like, yeah, but we're the same team that was leading the league in runs. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that's great. But what about now? What have we done lately? And so you start to look around and you're like, yeah, these are the same players. I mean, sure, you have an injury or two, but pretty much it's the same team. That's when I do feel like, and today it was brought up, Yohan Moncada could be available, but let's just stick with just the rotation right now. The rotation, you feel good about Max Fried. I understand he had a rare loss the other day. He's going to be fine. Carlos Rodon, going to be fine. I like the way Carlos Rodon pitches. I'm fine with him. So those guys are fine. But Clarke Schmidt is number 3 in this rotation, right? And Will Warren, we were just talking about how he could pitch his way out of the rotation. So now he can't.
ERA north of 5 now.
And then you have Marcus Stroman, who's coming off a great performance, but he is what he is. He doesn't miss bats. He generates soft contact, but he also is somebody that earlier in the year couldn't get through an inning. So he's shown no consistency. And then Luis Heel, we've talked about the potential of, maybe they should just shut him down and just, make him the closer in the postseason and just have him do that, because essentially it's going to take a while for him to get ramped up. Now you're saying he might just have to come out and just be ready. See, this isn't a great...
This is where we are. Look at this.
This is not great. So this is what I would say, okay? I understand, any updates on Yarby? I haven't heard anything.
We're waiting on Ryan Yarbrough to return to help put a shot in the arm of the rotation. I don't have an update personally, but that's how bad it is right now.
Yeah, this is where Cam Schlittler actually becomes gold right now, because he's dominating. So lucky for you, he's actually dominating. This is why the Yankees being proactive earlier in the year and moving him from AA to AAA, which felt at the time, I remember there were some people that said this is a little early. This might be a little too soon, but we'll see what happens. And it wasn't too soon. And this, to be fair, I want to give the Yankees some credit here, because moving him up gets him ready for this moment. And I think Cam Schlittler is a no-brainer here, okay? They already admitted to this, right? Matt Blake was interviewed, and he mentioned back in spring training, this is a guy we could see helping us in the second half of the year. So this has been a plan in advance. This is why you always plan. This is why the Dodgers house 11 starting pitchers, whether it's on the IL, AAA, on the roster, bullpen. This is why.
Yeah, and we're technically 4 weeks away from that projection. We passed the deadline, and we're now at that point. So this isn't really uncharacteristic. This is sort of what they've revved us up for.
And
I
then
don't know.
keep in mind, when I texted you, what did I text you? I said, Cam Schlittler just pitched yesterday. I don't need him to get called up and pitch immediately because I need him to fill Clarke Schmidt's spot. So guess what? It just works out perfectly. He can fill Clarke Schmidt's spot in the rotation. He doesn't have to be called up today. And that is the thing. So when you have a guy who's touching 99, he's got a great sweeper, he's working on some things, you get him with Matt Blake, the sky's kind of the limit there. I told you yesterday, and I meant this guy can be a number 2 in the rotation. Okay? I'm really high on Cam. So I think it's a no-brainer. I think this isn't Brian Cashman getting lucky. This, believe it or not, is the whole point. This is the whole entire point of having a farm system with arms. This is the point, is that if something goes south, you don't have to you don't have to sit there and panic. You don't have to panic, trade for somebody. You already have somebody in-house. And I do believe that they have Cam. But here's my concern, Gary. We don't know how long Clarke's going to be out. And this is where it gets into, as much as I like Cam, and I think he is capable, it is not ideal to take this kid and be like, yeah, we're going to have to pitch you in the postseason because you're not going to pitch Stroman and you're not going to pitch Will Warren. And this, Gary, is where trading for a starting pitcher actually makes sense. Keep in mind, if you're thinking Luis Seal at home, I understand it. I don't fault you. He was, AL Rookie of the Year last year. But they didn't even trust Luis Seal to start in the postseason during his Rookie of the Year season. So do you think now, coming off an injury that cost him half the season, do you think now they're going to be more likely to give him that runway? I don't think so. So,
yeah, Jake, that could also be on us. If you can't trust a rookie to pitch in October
100%.
baseball, it's not like they have to do witchcraft out there. It's just baseball.
That is on
it's
them.
Just high stakes. Mind
that
you,
is on them.
The Houston
100%.
Astros, they lose Garrett Cole, and guess what? You see Framber Valdez out there, young, just on the mound, ready to pitch. And you know what they say? Oh, the young buck. Can you believe that he's doing this? Yeah, it's because he's coached. He's coached. That's what it is. It's not rocket science. It's
Yamamoto,
take a look at
his rookie year.
Take a look at these different arms. And of course, it's like, yeah, Yamamoto had experience overseas, but people always come up with excuses why other players, other teams' young guys, they can be trusted, right? Oh, yeah, Juan Soto, yeah, he goes in October baseball and he's hitting home runs off Justin Verlander. Oh, how old is he? Oh, he's 20. But then the New York Yankees, when people say, hey, what about calling up the 20-year-old? People act like we're calling a dude up out at the womb. That's the way they make it seem. And it's not that way. These are grown men. And yes, a 20-year-old is a grown man. Is he old? No. But having said that, at some point or another, you do have to stop placing all the blame on certain players that are young, and you can also take some ownership and responsibility for what happens. That's why you have guys like Max Fried out there. That's why you have veterans like Carlos Rodon that says, hey, Cam, we're going to toss you the ball in mid-July or early July. We're going to give you half the year to rev up. You're not going to be overworked, right? You're not going to throw 200 innings. You just got here. And we're going to see what you can do. And if you have a ceiling of a 2, well, then maybe I can justify throwing you in a postseason game. Why the hell not? If you earn that job, why am I going to rob it from you just because you're young? I mean, are we allergic to pitching or playing young players?
Yes.
We are, right? But that's part of understanding how to fix this, is understanding that we have a problem.
You see,
we
Clayton
don't
Beeter?
trust people.
Oh, he's never coming back. They're like, nope, you get one shot at this, you're gone.
I mean,
They
to be
just
fair,
sent him down right after.
he couldn't throw any strikes.
No.
Boy.
I think he just had a bad day. I don't necessarily think that's who he is, but maybe he is. I don't know. But I don't think we see him anytime soon. But Gary, to follow up with what we were talking about, this is where going after a starting pitcher makes a lot of sense, to have that 1, 2, 3. And who is that? I mean, we talked about off air. Freddie Peralta is really the best option, but we don't even know if he's an option, right?
Yeah, Milwaukee is probably not going to be selling. I mean, obviously you saw what they did with Jacob Mizorowski. He just had his first bad start, but he's one of the best arms in the game.
Smacked around a little bit.
But he's sitting 102. All pitchers get hit. Doesn't matter how hard you throw, how much it moves. Big leaguers get to big leaguers. It just happens. But that Milwaukee team it seems like they're overachieving, and a ton of teams make the postseason. They're going to be in it. I can't see them selling. Every single year. Every single year. I don't even know who to tell you guys will be available. I've always said maybe you look at Chris Sale. Maybe you look at Austin Riley. I'm long now been a supporter. I need Jazz Chisholm in the Yankees lineup and on their roster. But it doesn't mean I need to see it at third base. If you've shown me the analytics, you've shown me the numbers, and also my eye test tells me exactly what those numbers say. He's not good at third base. He's just not. He
was great last year, but I don't
care what he did last year. Yeah. If he is awesome last year, he showed up this year and was something else. So I have to do something else this year and make accommodations for that. Does it mean Jazz has to come off the field? Nope. It means Jazz has to go to second base and get DJ off the field, and DJ can go sit down next to coach. And then that way the New York Yankees can bring in someone who can hit and field at third base. That has to happen. It's a prerequisite to win. And once you fix that, you obviously still have a problem at shortstop, but now we have two less problems. We don't have a second baseman who has no range and hits 250 without pop. And we don't have a guy playing out of position when he could be a great second baseman for you while also hitting. So the Yankees are doing too many things that are really causing such a stir on this roster. And that's on both Cashman and Aaron Boone, because obviously Boone can call Cashman and be like, what the hell, what kind of deck of cards did you give me? This isn't good. And they need to communicate, because right now this roster is just not making sense. And I see a lot of talent, but does it fit? I just don't see it.
No, I get that. I understand that for sure. And I think really, right now, kind of looking at where the Yankees are at, because they have issues everywhere. You can make the argument they need bats, they need bullpen arms, and they need a starting pitcher. And so, kind of looking at guys that...
We need a team.
Yeah. Guys that could be available. I mean, Merrill Kelly has been mentioned. He's older, right? But then again, does age truly matter if all this guy is going to be his rental? That's the thing. If you get Freddie Peralta, he's going to be a guy that you probably want to keep around. But if you get, even Zach Gallen, he's 29, that's great. But he's going to be a free agent after the season. So
I'm not really focused on the future, to be honest. I'm just not. I mean, the future is in our system right now, right? You're looking at George Lombard Jr., you're looking at Spencer Jones, and if you trade any one of those players, that's you saying, man, that player that comes through the door must be great to give up some of these dudes. That would make sense. But yeah, to the point that you're bringing up, does it matter if the guy that comes in is 27 so he can be good now and then also help us right next year? If Garrett Cole doesn't matter. I don't give a rip. Where the Yankees, if you go into the offseason and something happens or you say he wasn't great here, or if he was great, you can pay and bring him back. If you want to go ahead and do that, you have that option. So it's not like every player that becomes a free agent has to leave us. You can just go out there and spend the money and bring him back if you so choose. So yeah, even if it's a 34-year-old starter, 35-year-old starter, as long as I'm getting quality output, I don't mind what's happening in 2026. Just make sure the player you bring in, if it's a Chris Sale, if it's a DeGrom, whoever it is that you guys choose, I don't care, make sure that guy has enough built up to stay healthy and competent this season. As long as we get that, it's much better than what we're getting right now. Because I'm not sure what happened to 3 of those names you listed in the rotation. Because I feel like just 2 months ago, we were like, this guy's awesome. Clarke is figuring it out, right? Will Warren is missing bats. This is awesome. But then they kind of reminded you why there's still Will Warren and Clarke Schmidt. They do remind you. Clarke Schmidt's Clarke Schmidt because of his health and his volatility there. And Will Warren, he can essentially lose all command. You saw it, right? He just loses all command with the four-seam fastball. It's been a great pitch for him all year. And once he loses it, he does not find it. It looked just like that Dodgers series. It did.
Yeah. By the way, MLB.com has their top trade candidates updated for now.
Okay.
So I have the starting pitchers, bullpen, and position players. Starting pitchers, they have Tyler Anderson from the Angels. Not really a sexy move. Really just going to be a guy that's trying to get you length, but isn't going to get you strikeouts or anything like that.
So Ryan Yarbrough, would you say? But look, like
but
a
not as good.
Yarbrough,
like 4.5 ERA. Like I don't.
Yeah,
think
so
he'd be
maybe
great.
not the output of Yarbrough. Same kind of style.
Yeah.
Not gonna miss bats. I would hate it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
No
like that
offense.
at all.
No
Sandy
offense.
Alcantara would be furious because I think it's going to cost way too much, and I don't like the way he's pitching.
Can you believe that?
Chris Bassett, who pitched today, I don't necessarily think he's even available, so I don't even buy that. But also, I don't think I would want Bassett.
Yeah, you don't get to be a buyer off a team that just passed you in the standings. That's a bit
that's weird.
overzealous. No.
You know what's funny? There's actually a pitcher on the Marlins. I've wanted him for a while. Edward Cabrera. He's actually pitching well. I like his stuff. I would prefer him over Alcantara. He is also listed on here. Zach Gallen, Zach Eflin. Orioles could definitely be sellers. Andrew Heaney, absolutely not. No. Mitch Keller, Merrill Kelly, Zach Littell, Herman Marquez. I'm staying away from Rockies pitchers. I
think we're going to land Merrill Kelly.
Luis
That's my final
Severino,
answer.
Michael Soroka, and
Luis,
Tomoyuki Sugano.
Did you see how much Sevy hates pitching in Sacramento? He's just been dragging it. It's like, dude,
why would
you take their money if you're just going to complain? Well, I mean, I don't think anyone would have a problem bringing Sevy back. Mm-hmm. But also, when you do bring him back, you're also bringing the money. Now, we don't care about that.
Exactly.
But you're bringing a player who not only is being paid this year, he's not on an expiring contract. That's big money. Not $40 million a year, but closer to 20.
No, they're not doing this.
This
money's crazy.
The money's insane.
It would be cool to have Sevy back. I would actually take him. I think he's fine. I honestly think because look at his numbers when he doesn't pitch in their little like softball field. Like, look at his numbers. He has ERAs below the 3s. But when he pitches
because he worked the sinker in there. Like when he left our organization, he no longer was like I'm going to be strictly a 4-seam slider changeup guy. That went away. He started moving his fastball, maybe working in a little cutter in off the plate. He wasn't doing that with us. He was just trying to overpower guys, and it worked at the beginning, right? Guys were seeing 100. They hadn't adjusted to you. And then all of a sudden, you started seeing dudes adjust, and he never got back, and obviously with the injuries. So, yeah, I wouldn't hate it, but the money just doesn't work. But let's get to some of these supers and make sure we catch up so people don't just burn into the screen. Apex with the super says, I'm a bit over K in the yes. Good Lord. Yes, defending Volpe also. I personally, Apex, thank you. I don't agree that they're defending Volpe. I think they're acknowledging the problem. I genuinely do. Jake, I don't know how you feel about this. I won't speak for you. Mm-hmm. It feels to me like the broadcast is displaying what it is. And what it is a player who obviously had a lot of hype and expectation, and that's obviously worn out its welcome. But you've got a player who was probably underrated early on in his career because the defense was really good, but the bat hadn't caught up, and that's what we really cared about. When we're getting the new shortstop of the Yankees, we want to see you hit. We want to see you eventually graduate into the top of the lineup anywhere and be a contributor in part of the future. But now that we fast forward 3 years, the Yes broadcast is watching this. They're essentially telling you guys the Yankees don't have a replacement in the now. All these guys that people are saying, whether you're going to throw Peraz over there, if you're going to throw Jazz over there, people are complaining right now that Jazz is out of position at third and you're going to throw him at shortstop. It's not going to get better. Third is easier to play than shortstop. So it's not going to be good. So having said these things, the Yankees don't have an option, so they're forced to throw Volpe out there, and it's just bad. He's not a good baseball player right now, and that's exactly, I'm quoting Michael K. Jake, how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I just don't have any issue with what he's saying. I think the big thing that every person that defends why Volpe plays shortstop for the New York Yankees right now and he hasn't been sent down is fair. It's a rational level of thinking. I'm not saying that I'm totally rational and saying that he should be sent down in AAA, because there's really not a better player than Anthony Volpe at shortstop right now.
We should have better options.
There.
We just don't.
I want to move Jazz there, but no one else does. So just because I want to move Jazz there doesn't mean that's even an option. See what I'm saying? So if there's no option, and dude, I really hate it, but Peraza, yeah, you're coming back. You're going to go sit down next to coach. As Gary said, we're going to bring Giancarlo Stanton up there because we know he's a horrendous pinch hitter, but he's better than whatever you're going to produce. Because the reality is Peraza is just not, he's not good offensively, and it's sad. He should be, but he's not. And unfortunately, because of that, and I would argue that's kind of the underrated factor of why the Yankees are really struggling here, is because if Volpe were to like be replaced, he's easily replaced if Peraza's hitting like 270. Peraza, there's a reason why he's on this roster. He's a great defender. But keep in mind, there was one point I remember I was sitting watching Carlos Rodon in his first year against the Mets at Yankee Stadium. And you texted me, Oswald Peraza is the worst defender I've ever seen. And he was horrific, like absolutely horrific. But you know what he did that year? He hit. He actually hit. He hit in the postseason. He hit during the season. So now he's gone reversal. I don't know what happened, but the problem is, if it was the other way around, you could justify, okay, yeah, he's not a great defender, but he can hit. Volpe can't hit right now. But it's hard.
You can hit 280 with pop. We'll let you go out. I mean, Jason Dominguez, everyone's clamoring for him to play. It's not because of any diving catches. It's not because he hit the cutoff man and we gunned a guy at home and saved the game today. It's because of what he did with the stick. So if guys are going to go out there and you're going to be good at one thing, you better be dominant and at a key position. You're not going to be able to be a mainstay, especially for the Yankees, because you're a good defensive third baseman. And by the way, Jake, I've been trying to push Peraza into this lineup. I dislike watching Anthony Volpe play that much. It's really just demoralizing. It is.
Yeah.
But when you really peel it back and you try to understand, and just from an understanding like point of view, you can't justify playing any of these guys over Volpe at shortstop. We don't have any options, and that's because Brian Cashman just really had too much faith in this player that he hasn't developed. It didn't work. So now we're in this situation where we just have to wait around, which, by the way, he's in arbitration this year. They said they're going to have to pay him close to, I think it was $6 to $8 million this offseason. Yes, I'm not paying that.
Oh, he can leave. I'm not.
Let me ask you guys in the comment section. Hey, jumping in the regular chat, jumping in the live. I mean, would you guys, mind you guys, $6 million to the New York Yankees is a drop in the bucket. It's hardly anything. Would you guys pay $6 million for Anthony Volpe? I would love to know what each and every one of you think. I'd be curious.
Absolutely not.
It's wild to me.
Like, I didn't even know that. That's crazy. I didn't even think about him going to arbitration. Yeah,
it should be an internship at this point. I don't. We're gonna pay him $6 million. I kind of like that name,
by the way.
You like what?
Be Toxic. Did you see that?
No.
Mentioned Seth Lugo, who apparently is available.
Seth Lugo would be awesome. And by the way, member of ours, Stephanie, welcome in. Always glad to have you in.
Yes.
Insane.
Appreciate you.
She's been watching Love Island. She's been taking a break from her buddies at Yankees Unloaded. Cheating on us.
Tisk.
Yeah. So FIFO, don't know if I said that right, but with the 2, thank you for getting involved in our podcast. Thank you. Says we need a starting pitcher. God, we need a lot, huh? 2 relief pitchers, a third baseman, and a utility player. So I'm going to kick utility player off this, right? Because remember, earlier this season, Jake, I said I would actually really like an Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Like, I would like it, and I still can kind of see the fit because he can, defensively, he's not going to be a problem at third. That's where he won his Gold Glove. That's not going to be an issue. But the numbers for IKF right now aren't very good offensively, and it almost seems like you're making a trade to get a souped-up Peraza, if that makes sense. Like, you're getting a guy who's going to be polished. I trust Peraza at third base in a postseason game. That's how good he is over there. The bat is a pool noodle. So if I'm going to trade for a player, I want him to be having it going this year because this is a 2025 move. So I'm with you, Jake. I like the fit of IKF. The problem is that kind of what you were saying with Moncada is just struggling to stay on the field, but his output is very good. So That's probably the player I'm looking at. Do I love it? Am I head over heels when I see it? Probably not. But do I think it helps this team getting Jazz back to second base and getting better defensively? Yeah, it is.
I think the Yankees have to consider, and I think this is what they will do. They're going to probably have multiple deals in place that bring in multiple players because they have stuff to address. And the reason being is you can really string your farm out if you're sending X amount of players for one player, then going to another team and doing that, and another team and doing that. And it also kind of throws off your negotiations because say another team, you end up like, all right, I'm not going to win this trade. Well, now you're going to end up spending more because other teams are going to be like, you want this guy? He's better than the guy you just acquired for that. We want more than that. So that's why you don't want to bid against yourself. So I think Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and David Bednar is the move if you're going to trade with Pittsburgh. You get a guy who can play third base, shortstop, and second, and catcher. And you also get a guy in Bednar who's a really good bullpen arm and could really help them out. But then I also think they could be interested, and I'm not saying I am, but they could be interested in Ryan McMahon from Colorado. And they could
that would be a flyer that could work, by the way.
It's very Chase Headley coded. That's what I would say. It's a very Chase Headley-esque move.
Oh, you've talked me out of it.
To go into that. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, buyer beware. But
by the way, you remember what number he wore?
12.
Yeah, I couldn't forget it. I just knew you'd know. Yep. For whatever reason, when I see Chase Headley, I just think 12 immediately. It's amazing how that is.
When I hear Chase Headley, I remember how dominant he was in MLB The Show before he came to the Yankees. And then when he was on the Yankees, I would just always take him out of the lineup and put like randoms because I didn't dislike him. He didn't move the needle for me. And guess what? I do not like Ryan McMahon. I don't care how good his savant page is. I do not care. The guy does not produce in Colorado. He doesn't. Like he has a below 700 OPS. Okay.
What are they saying the issue is with him? Because mind you, if he was performing, the Rockies certainly, like buffoons, would say, no, we're keeping this. He's our franchise player. Your team stinks. But with DJ LeMahieu, when we made that trade with Colorado, the clear problem was launch angle. Do you remember everyone was just pulling out the lotion every offseason for launch angle? Do you guys remember that?
Oh, my God.
There's a launch angle, 32 degrees. Yeah. Are you guys being for real? And then the Yankees said, well, DJ LeMahieu makes hard contact. He's a good glove, and he's also a utility player. He can play third. He can play second. He can also play first base occasionally. But we're going to fix the launch angle. He got here, and they fixed it immediately, and it was great. He was probably DJ LeMahieu was actually, I know you wouldn't know it now. By the way, obviously, we have to cover him. But he's probably my favorite player to watch for the Yankees the past decade.
Damn.
That's saying a bit. He was the most reliable bat. He was clutch. Don't forget what he did in those Houston series. Obviously, we didn't end up winning, but he was great. So I'm just sort of looking at this player, and when they mention flyer players and you're watching how it's going, the Yankees are free-falling. And then you fans hear, oh, we're going to take a flyer on McMahon in Colorado. That really pisses people off because they don't feel like you're in a position to take a flyer.
Well, like, also... so I'm going to check his contract real quick, but it feels like another one of those where you'd be eating money. And I don't, for what? You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember. Let's see. Yeah, his contract is not great. You're taking on another $12 million this year, then $16 million the next 2 years. I guess you could see it if the Yankees feel like he's a no-brainer at Yankee Stadium. He's going to fit. But also, they're the ones always complaining about, oh, we have all these lefties. We have all these lefties in our lineup. Guess what? He's another lefty, right? And again, like I mentioned, Ryan McMahon is not hitting well, okay? So, yeah, he's a great defender. We know that. But this is a guy who has a 696 OPS, and he's considered a power hitter. So, sorry, hitting 213, a career 742 OPS. I think he is incredibly overrated. I've always said that. So if they go out and get him, I'd be annoyed, but I'd also understand their rationale. They'd be they wouldn't just be getting him. They'd be getting a Jake Bird with him or Seth Halverson. I know that one person in our comment section has been dying to pick up the 5 ERA Seth Halverson because he loves his stuff so much.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like and by the way, Matt Blake knows what he's doing. If we do go get a flyer, a flyer arm, I believe we'd probably make it work.
Fastball, by the way.
Yeah, we'd probably make it work. We just would. Like, they trade for Cruz. Everyone's like, what the hell are you doing? ERA's over 5. Well, this is what they're doing. Okay. And then it starts to, the dots are connected. But with the bats, I don't really think I want to see a flyer at third base. Go get me something that's more stable. It's going to cost you more, but it costs you more for a reason. Just go do that. We're the Yankees. We don't have time to play around. We don't have time for this to take until next year to be fixed. You got to fix it now. No flyers. We're in second place. So I want to get to these supers. Our supers is now like a scroll. We're way behind. John says, want to bet Baboon benches Dominguez tomorrow.
Nope.
I like
I'm not
keeping
trying
my
to
money.
Lose. Yeah.
And John, thank you for the 2 and getting involved.
Thank you, John.
I would never in a million years make that bet because we all know there's no guarantee.
No, he'll probably be out of the lineup tomorrow.
This team is gutless.
Soft fire Cashman.
I love when people spend their money to have us discuss it, and it's just like, I just came to say it sucks.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Who was it that always leaves the supers that are the best? Is it Brian?
Oh, yeah, he just calls it like it is. Brian Fuchs.
It's the funniest. He's got the best. He's probably leading the league in supers, in the funny supers. That's just awesome.
Apex, Hal and Cashman turned Yanks into the Knicks. Damn. There's some truth to that.
Neither are winning when it counts. They're getting close. They're in the dance. I wonder if we should ask the Knicks. Do they think it's a crapshoot?
Except to be fair, the Knicks fired their coach, and then they got one that I don't know what they were thinking.
Oh, who was it again? It was Mike
Brown.
Yeah. No one knows what they're doing.
They finally see the fly. I did finally see
There's 3 flies in here. I'm like in Costa Rica in here. Why are there so many flies? It's just, dude, it just drives me up an absolute wall. The Yankees stink. They don't want to make any trades. They want to take flyers. They're thinking about trading for IKF.
And you're invaded
Clarke
by flies.
Schmidt's hurt, and then there's 3 flies in my podcast room. It's a joke. What a joke of a day. But Apex, thank you.
Appreciate you, Apex. And DV Sat, thank you for the 2. Dodgers got rid of Austin Barnes and Chris Taylor.
Yeah, and by the way, Chris Taylor was highly paid. Yeah, they can go to hell. Chris Taylor, I mean, the funny story about it is when Chris Taylor was first signed, I tweeted and said, what a ridiculous contract. This isn't going to work. And, and Chris Taylor got mad at me. True story.
It's so funny because Chris Taylor then clearly remembered that you are a Yankee fan because it looked like he played like it was Game 7 of the World Series when they faced the Yankees. Remember the Angels picked him up?
Yes.
Every little thing was a diving catch, and like he showed like
it was
emotion.
Angels in the outfield. He was just like, this is my Game 6 of the World Series. I'm gonna have my moment.
Do you see when he cut off the other fielder? Like he was just like, no. I'm the captain of the ship now.
He was probably like Gary's probably talking. He's probably talking all that mess on the podcast. I'm gonna go crazy and then get cut.
He was still thinking about you. Theo Harris, thank you for the 2. Will we still make October at this point? Yes, I still believe so. Because they have this tendency to turn things around, but also the AL just is not good. It's just not good. I'm sorry.
But also with all the wild cards, Jake, I mean, you practically have to be the Rockies not to make it. It is really not hard. And mind you,
it's stupid.
They easily, the way they're playing, if we don't make the playoffs, then that's what they earn. They deserve it. I'm not going to sit here and
if
act
they don't
like
make
we
the
got
playoffs,
get the heck out of here.
I need Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone fired on a live stream. Like I need to be able to watch them getting fired.
Jake, I'm going to read you these teams. So mind you, Theo, by the way, thank you for getting involved.
It's crazy.
Look at the teams that are actually involved. When people are asking
horrendous.
The team that is outside the bubble of the playoffs right now, here's the first team.
The Angels.
The Los Angeles Angels. The Texas Rangers. They're below 500. The Boston Red Sox. They just traded Devers and have just fallen off a cliff. Yeah, they've won 2 games in a row, but they stink. They're not a good baseball team.
The Orioles are 7.5 out.
If you guys can't outrun the Angels, the Rangers, the Red Sox, and the Twins, who are 41 and 46, and they're just talking about whether or not they're going to sell or not, if you can't outrun those teams for a wild card spot, Aaron Boone should be shipped Amazon Prime to Bangladesh. Brian Cashman should be shipped immediately. Everyone should be fired.
He should be the general manager of the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah, let's get serious here. Winning the division, we should win this division.
No, but if they
Boston
miss
would be
the
better.
playoffs,
Come on.
You completely lose me. You completely lose me.
No, he's done. I'll probably message Brett Boone and be like, tell your brother it's done. It's a wrap. It's done with.
It's, my God, that's just awful.
But Theo, thank you for that. And Nate with the super with the 5, Nate, thank you. Says this team is going to waste Judge's prime like San Francisco did with Bonds, aren't they? Giants fans were so sure Bonds would get a ring. You never got back there. So this is kind of overhyping, and not you, Nate, but it should remind everybody it takes everyone to be excellent in order to win.
Yeah.
You need excellence in your staff and your scouting, making decisions of which young players to use, which ones not to, which ones we're going to trade. Everything's got to bounce your way. There's also health related in there, some luck, but most of it is your habits. What did you look like in July? What did you look like in August? And if you have good habits and you can trust, okay, we know how we're going to play in these close games, then you can trust that maybe we have a real shot at winning something when it matters. But yet, Nate's sort of bringing up the concern. It seems like they're going to have Aaron Judge. It's actually an amazing comparison, right? You go to the World Series one time, he's in that conversation with Bonds, in one of the greatest baseball players to ever live. I believe Bonds probably is that, but Aaron Judge is right up there. It's not going to be up to him solely if we win or we do anything. It's going to be up to, I hate to say it, Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, this staff. Do you trust that group? Do you trust our third base coach and all these guys to make the correct decisions to put us where we need to be? I don't know, Nate. I'm worried. Jake, how you feeling?
I have no idea. I don't know. I still kind of feel like...
Do you still think we're going to win the pennant?
I still kind of feel like that just because I don't know why I don't buy the Tigers. I just don't.
Oh, I think they beat the brakes off us.
But at the same time, I could be wrong. I think when it's all, said and done, I think the Yankees are going to be in the World Series and lose again, probably to the Dodgers. That's kind of what I see.
Okay, so we're going to rebound.
If it's not the Dodgers, then I don't know why I kind of feel like Philly could get there.
Yeah. Philadelphia. Well, that was my pick early in the year, wasn't it?
I think Philly is going to get one of the big time closers and just go on a tear. Like, I think they're either going to get Clarke or Mason Miller. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think we both agreed on Miller. I can also see Philadelphia getting Aroldis Chapman, right?
Well, don't rule out Clarke, man. I'm telling you, that would be crazy. That was a guy that we did a video on. Okay, I would be all for going after Clarke. As a matter of fact, I think the Yankees should consider trying to get him. But
taking on the project of, let's not compare him to what he is right now, but what he's always been. Maybe we fix him. You never know.
And then he goes to Matt Blake of all the people. Like, really?
I do want somebody that we bring into the bullpen. I don't think I want it to be another 92, 93 mile an hour guy with cut and sink. I think I probably want someone in the high 90s that puts fear out there. He's not going to be Mariano. It's not going to be 98 and move 2 feet. There's a reason Mariano is who he is. But don't you guys miss having a closer out there, the Betances, the Chapmans, where you see 102, 101, and hitters are like, I can't do anything with that when that guy's got it going? I miss that.
Yeah, well, Mason Miller, Clarke, Halverson, they all throw 100. So, 100 plus is what I should say.
Yeah, but Kyle thinks we're getting swept by the Mets.
Kyle is from the future, so I agree.
Yeah, well, thank you, Kyle, for getting involved. Thank you for
I think they win one game at Citi Field, but I think the Mets win the series. Yeah, they're playing 3.
Yeah, I would say that's the safe pick. It will probably win one game. It'll likely be
the game that Max Fried pitches.
Yeah, because Marcus Stroman's toeing the rubber tomorrow.
3:10. Marcus Stroman taking on Justin Hagenman. All
Who's
right.
that?
I've never heard of that guy before, but
Smitty Werber Jagerman Jensen starting tomorrow for the Mets. Who the hell is that? And mind you, this is a big
honestly,
leaguer. Like,
this is why I feel bad
this.
for the Mets. Like, they've had so many injuries. You have a guy named Justin Hagenman playing. Although
Well,
I'm
he'd probably be
saying
in our
that
rotation.
I'm saying that, and he's probably a top prospect. To be fair, so
Yeah, I'm sure he's good.
Oh wow. Okay. Guess who's pitching? Oh my God, it's on Fox Sports 1, of course. Saturday. Guess who's pitching
For us or them?
for them?
Is it
Rodon's
Holmes?
pitching? No,
No, I wanted to see Holmes.
it is
At this
Frankie
point,
Montas.
you know the funniest thing that could have ever happened, I think? The Frankie Montas thing is funny, and I'm rooting for him to be healthy. So that's
No Clay Holmes for the whole year. They're gonna dodge him. That's
Wait,
so
could you
depressing.
imagine if Clay Holmes no hit us?
Dude, Clay Holmes isn't pitching against the Yankees the whole year. That's how it ended up working out.
Yeah, it's pretty
Max
crazy.
Fried taking on Brandon Waddle. I don't even know who's in this slot. This rotation of the Mets, I have no idea who these people are. I feel like such a casual right now. Yankees should go after Marlins pitcher Edward Cabrera. Yes, I was just saying that. Not
You didn't say that on the
Alcantara.
show, or did Marion just say that on her own?
I did just say on the show. But
Okay, good, because I was going
Marion
to say
might
there's
have
no
said
way.
it. Well,
Okay.
it's starting to. I don't know.
But Edward Cabrera is another guy where it's going to be high velocity, high movement, something that Matt Blake likes. And then he'll work on the mix and just, okay, what do the analytics say about a certain pitch? We're going to go away from that one, and we're going to go towards that one. They did that with Will Warren. I know it doesn't look good right now, but they figured out his four-seam fastball is disgusting. You see the run value on it. Guys don't hit the four-seam. But you saw this week, you hang that sweeper, people do damage with that pitch. So
That is
not
true.
good. But Marion, thank you for the 5. Love the picture of the cat. My wife is definitely a cat person, and I haven't given in quite yet. Slim Lewis with the 5 said,
Hey.
would anyone be shocked if Dominguez is in the lineup tomorrow? So obviously you have a common theme here. We've all been saying that all he needs is to play every day. And this is part of the reason why we don't even trust our staff just to make that decision. They don't even have to trade Trent Grisham in order for this to work. They can just choose, even though Trent Grisham homered today and he continues to give you quality at bats. It's about what you're stopping and who you're preventing from being in the lineup and developing. It doesn't have to anything to do with Trent Grisham, really. And if Trent Grisham's giving you too much production, you feel like he's deserving of being a starter. Well, guess who else thinks he's a starter, Jake? And you've said this. Other teams who need bats. If Seattle can't score, if Philadelphia feels like we need another guy in the corner, we need someone else to man the outfield. Bryce Harper's not healthy. Okay.
Come on. Look at who they have right now. Look at Luis Robert is considered one of the top outfielders that teams are trying to get
I'd
at the
much
deadline.
rather have Trent Grisham.
Well, I mean, Austin Hayes is probably, he's an interesting one. Dalton Varsho. But I mean, Adolis Garcia, like, he's just a guy. Like, he's not anything special.
By the way, out of position, though, I've been hearing a lot of Brian Hayes.
All right. Brian Hayes would be terrible. Okay. Terrible.
Yeah, you're not high on him, are you?
I'm not. And look, I understand he's got a cool name, so I think that also has something to do with it. But Brian Hayes is one of the best fielders in baseball. Okay. And he's a good base runner. He is in the first percentile in batting run value. Okay. His batting average is 247. So
Okay.
it actually saves face, but he doesn't walk. He doesn't get on base. He has a
What's his on base?
297 on base.
Oh, that's actually eerily similar to Anthony Volpe's on base. I believe Volpe's on base is probably closer to 291, somewhere in there?
He's got a 601 OPS.
Oh, wow. So literally 99 points below a league average hitter. So essentially he's a dynamic glove and he can't hit a lick. Who's that remind you of, by the way, that he'd be replacing? Oh, wait, that's right. It's Peraza.
Yep. So
Why?
I know
he's not even cheap.
He's better than Peraza, like defensively, and then of course his average. But if Peraza had 318 plate appearances, Do you think he'd have a higher than a 297 on base percentage? I think it's possible.
Yeah, it would certainly improve. Would it be good enough to play every day? Absolutely not. Okay, but
yeah, no, I don't.
Is it going to be that? Brian Hayes plays because he's actually under contract. He was actually one of the few players in baseball who signed that early deal before arbitration. Remember that? He signed that deal with Pittsburgh. He's like, I'll stay over here. Right? That little
32nd overall. He was a first-round pick.
Right. So he took the world by storm right there at the beginning. Obviously, they had high hopes. Nothing wrong with that. He was showing some flashes of being great. And I was rooting for it. I mean, I'm always rooting for young players to work it out and make this a career. Because if you're here for 2 or 3 years, people treat you like you're rich. You made $600K twice. You made doctor's money twice. And they're like, see you later.
He's 28, right? So, I mean, he's still technically in his prime. So, like, where did this guy go? Like,
that's what I think they're hoping is on the trade market. They're going to look at other teams and say,
like, if he's like that,
you can get this out of him. So that's why his value is not nothing.
If you like, look at that average exit velo. Like, if he gave the Yankees that's a good player. I don't really understand what happened to him, but look at and then watch this. It's going to crater. Like, so.
But that's why, I mean, the Yankees don't have the type of time for this science fair project. They just don't have it. If you want to be a team you're 9 games up in first place, but you think your third baseman stinks, well, Brian Hayes is under contract and Pittsburgh wants to get rid of him. We can get him for nothing. We'll just take the money on, but we think we can fix him because we believe in our department. Well, okay, I'll let you do that because nothing's in jeopardy. Jobs are on the line here. We are in right now, we're hosting a wild card game.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
I mean, it's reality.
I mean, you look at Ryan McMahon there again. I understand there's some good stuff, but he strikes out way too much for my liking. And,
how many times has he struck out?
Well, he strikes out 32% of the time, but I don't see the strikeouts on here.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the velo, and of course he's a left-hand bat, so he'd be nice at Yankee Stadium.
His K percentage is just ice cold. It's the Titanic.
I mean, his whiff percentage is 35.9. Like, Aaron Judge might have that. His is 35.7, but I'm also getting this out of Aaron Judge.
Yeah, what's so interesting about Judge is that when he swings and misses, it's actually a net positive because you don't usually get weak contact. If he's not on the ball, he misses the ball. But he's going to get you later in the at-bat. That's his approach.
Yeah, but McMahon isn't going to get you at all.
No, there's certain
He's just
players.
Not good.
You've seen Ben Rice do it as well. Ben Rice will just go up there, swing first pitch, and make like a weak contact over to first, and you're like, I would rather him swung and miss there. So a swing and a miss isn't always the worst thing, but when you're ice cold like that, not good.
That's Moncada. Again, not qualified because he's missed time, but you see the barrel percentage, you see the velo, you see the expected slugging, you see the sweet spot, the launch angle, the chase rate, the walks. I really thought he was impressive when the Yankees came to Anaheim, and I thought he went off in that series. I think he's a good fit. I mean, if he could stay healthy, he's a good fit. Now the problem is, can he stay healthy? And I think that's a fair argument people have. Like, I mean, if a guy can't stay healthy, he can't help you. Right?
Is it also fair to say that every single player that's going to be available at the deadline, at least right now with all these teams in the mix, right? I mean, you're talking about the Rays, the Mariners, the Angels, the Rangers, the Red Sox. They all think they're in it. So obviously the people that are going to be available, it's going to be slim pickings. But you can argue that every single player available is going to have a glaring flaw. Either they're horrible on defense like Suarez, or Moncada has injury history, but he's kind of the best of both worlds offensively and defensively. But getting hurt is still a problem. Everyone has a problem. I think we all just need to take a look at everyone's problems. Which ones are you willing to take?
I like that you said that, and I like the way you said it, because it is a reminder. The trade deadline can be a tool. It can help you, just like analytics. But if you overuse it, it can hurt you, just like analytics. And so the trade deadline, it's important to remember that not everybody is trading a player because they're bad. oh, yeah, we don't need him. We're not going to go and compete for a World Series. Not everybody's doing that. Sometimes a player just doesn't have what they're looking for. That's why there are guys that are constantly mentioned, like, somebody like a Brandon Lau. They've been talking about trading him for years. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care that he's still on the team. I don't care. You don't get talked about in that light being traded away every year if a team isn't leaking this information on purpose. They clearly would move him if they got the right pieces. And so that's my thing, is that you're going to have flawed players. This is a flawed player, just like anybody. Brian Hayes is going to give you the best defense out of anybody. But guess what? He's incredibly flawed with the bat. So, as you said,
I can't live with that.
It's like Peraza. So, I think that would be a huge mistake. Then you have Moncada, who the analytics show he's not a great fielder. I thought he was great in the Yankees series, and that could have been just 3 good games. But I like the way he moves around. I like his mobility, and I think he gives you a lot. The only issue for me has nothing to do with anything other than his injuries. That's it. That's the only thing that I'm concerned with, and that is a big thing. And then you look at guys like, Ryan McMahon, and it's like, man, this guy, he's not hurt. He's just not good. He's not producing.
He has to be. There's clearly a disconnect. Very similar to the way another team, because people have talked about this, and I'm going to use Slim Lewis's super chat here. Slim, thank you for the 5. Yeah. Anthony Volpe, in my opinion, he has flawed mechanics. I think he has all the talent in the world. I really do. I believe that. Firm believer in it. But if you can't put it together mechanically, who gives a rip what type of talent you've got?
Yeah,
if you're a really smart kid, but you refuse to study and you fail the test at the end of the year, what does it matter how smart you are? You don't apply it. So you're sort of looking at Anthony Volpe. There's going to be other teams who say, oh, we can fix Volpe. We know how to develop players. We may be in a position to send them down, or we think it's an easier fix and we can fix it right away, the way the Yankees fixed DJ LeMahieu. So there's always value to be seen. You guys would be shocked how bad at baseball you have to have no value. You'd be blown away at this. And Slim Lewis with a 5 says Volpe should actually be sent to AA. Pitching is better there than AAA. So actually that's a productive point right there. It makes a lot of sense. Jake, actually, you brought that up last week of how good the pitching is in AA. Totally accurate. And he also should never bat higher than 9th in Major League Baseball. I actually would disagree. I think he should hit 8th. I think the 8 hitter is just invisible to me. I just don't even see him in the lineup. 8 hitter, it just doesn't exist.
No, I agree with that for sure. Yeah, I mean, Rosario's an option here. I brought him up, on the Nationals. And then there's Connor Norby, I think people were talking about on the Marlins. And I just don't know if that guy's going to really help you. It's just another one of those. I mean, he's good at one thing type deal. I don't know.
Who was that dude again that we brought in? He was 35. He was kind of a speedster right-hander.
Oh, did you see who they picked up? They picked up somebody today. Nicky something.
Wasn't it
And he's
I know who you're talking
he's
about.
Like a gold glover, Nicky Lopez.
How many gold glovers are you guys going to bring in?
I know.
Can't hit a lick. Oh my God. What is that? Look at that.
So this guy is going to walk every time he goes to the plate, and he doesn't strike out, and he doesn't whiff, and he doesn't chase, but he doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, his expected batting average, he's just never going to get a hit. Expect nothing. Come on. Jeff J. He's been a member for 10 months. Jeff's been awesome. I saw somebody in the comments asking how to become a member. Again, I have no idea how to do it.
It should be below the video. It says join.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think the join button does it. Jeff J says no trade can overcome the craptastic morass. I'm assuming, is that going to be moron that is trash cans?
Moron fused with ass,
more ass.
Doing that.
And how Baboon needs to dance for his dinner.
Oh my God, dude! Wait, is Nicky Lopez about to be the third baseman on this team?
If Nicky Lopez is going to be the third baseman, why not Peraza? He can't hit a lick. He's good defensively.
Yeah,
what has anybody else done?
But Nicky Lopez hit 241 with the 312 on base last year, and then the year before that was 231 with 326 on base. And he's only had 28 plate appearances this year.
Yeah, let's trust with Boone. What
I'm
Boone's
telling
doing.
you now, Nicky Lopez is going to be the starting third baseman.
I don't believe it.
They picked him up for a
This is
reason.
a good name. Halloween Man
I love that.
one
We
with
like
the 5.
that.
Says,
Yeah.
what about Michael Waka?
If you
I don't
say his
think
last
so.
name in a certain way, it sounds like Tom Morello's guitar effect in Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You've never heard of Rage Against the Machine?
No.
What?
No.
Bulls on Parade?
No. I
Killing
played
in the
baseball.
Name of?
I didn't do any of this.
Guitar Hero.
No, I didn't play Guitar Hero. I played it like
What?
twice. I was terrible at that game.
Oh my god! Is that that's literally how his guitar sounds? Tom Morello. I'm not kidding you. And I know people in the comment section know exactly what I'm talking about. So every time I see Michael Waka, I literally think of Waka Waka Waka. Like it literally. That's the funniest thing ever.
I know who Waka Flocka is, but I don't know who.
Okay, I need to send you Rage Against the Machine because you need to know. You need to be cultured. This is insane. You're older than me. You don't know Rage Against the Machine.
No, I have no idea. And Yankee Fangirl for Life with the 5 also recently became a member. So again, thank you for doing that within this past couple weeks. Says, in my opinion, Bucky Dent wasn't a great batter, but was solid in the field. Volpe has had too many errors, which makes him a bad bat, stick out like a sore thumb. I actually think the biggest issue right now, and I know we want him to hit, the biggest issue for Volpe is he's being picked apart so much with the bat, and that's his doing, and it's his fault. He's a grown man. He should have to deal with it. But he's taking it out with him in the field. He is objectively worse, and it shouldn't be because of skill set. It's not any type of physical regression. I know that they mentioned that he was hit by a pitch, and maybe that had some type of effect, but the defense is just, the defense is not, if he was a defensive specialist, we'd still be complaining. Let's not act like we would take it now if we knew how bad it could get. But, I mean, this comment is correct. He sticks out like a sore thumb. When you're not playing good defense, we're going to really rip you. When you don't hit, you don't do both, and you've been thrown out stealing 7 times. You've stolen like 9 bags. You're basically just getting picked off once a week.
The defense is worse, by the way. It dropped down to 33%.
Interesting. Well, it doesn't matter. People told me it didn't matter because his WAR was high. So
I know. And then that one dude who obsesses over you.
Oh, you mean that guy who's been podcasting 11 years and his show gets less views than ours? Yeah, I remember him. Pretty impressive. Good for you, brother.
Man.
Hey, but Yankee Fangirl, thank you for getting involved. Always appreciated. Nate with the 5. And as soon as we get caught up with these supers, we'll also jump back into the live comments as well. Nate with the 5 says, Scooble gives me playoff Kershaw vibes. Really? He gave up 5 earned runs against Cleveland last year in Game 5. Could be an isolated incident, but who knows? I genuinely believe, Nate, so this is good information. This is still accurate, but you have to judge people on what they do often. And if you've only gone out there and you've made one start and you just laid an egg, you can't really draw a conclusion about that. Tarek Skubal is probably the number 1 guy you'd want in your rotation right now. He's just disgusting. He is. 103 from the left side, your final pitch of a complete game shutout. I mean, it's and what he's not arguing the talent, Jake. He's really just saying maybe, just maybe, you don't believe in Detroit, right? Like you don't think they're going to beat us. I think they genuinely, like, we're underdogs in that situation. I do.
It's not that I don't think that they can't beat the Yankees. It's that I don't know if I believe in them as, like, the top dog in the league. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I need to see it. Like, show me, don't tell me. You know what I mean? I need to see it in the playoffs because I was really high on Detroit last year. The way that they were playing at the end of the season, they looked like the scariest team. I remember us talking about it and thought that the Yankees were going to face them, and they did not see them. It's because Detroit did not get it done. So,
to be fair to them, they'd probably turn around and say, what have you jabronis done?
Well,
they'd say, well, you beat Cleveland and Kansas City. What have you guys done the last 16 years? And I'd say, touche. We've been part of the dance.
No. They wouldn't just say that. AJ Hinch would remind us that he has World Series championships.
Yeah, AJ Hinch is
like,
they're coming in with the edge.
My ass.
Yeah, they're coming in with the edge in the dugout. Let's be clear. They are. They've got a better manager. And now you go into game 1. Max Fried certainly can go toe-to-toe with Skubal. Is he as talented? No. But He's certainly capable of shutting it down against a Detroit lineup. It's going to be freezing out there, harder to hit. But you need to ask yourself, who do you trust more, right? In a 2-2 game in the 8th inning, and you're flipping the ball, right, to Williams, or you're flipping the ball to Leiter Jr., and they're flipping the ball to whoever they trust. Who do you think's winning that series? And when it's all said and done, and we're just not showing consistently enough, or really at all, that we can win those style of games. We are playing some of the worst baseball you've watched, and I don't even know what to say the problem is. Is it the lineup? Is it the pitching? I feel like we're like kind of hitting and pitching at the same time. We still lose.
It's a horror movie.
It's pretty bad.
Well, no, because I enjoy horror movies, so it's definitely not a horror movie.
Oh, good for Marion, by the way. She was ahead of you, apparently. Says, mention Cabrera before Jake. Marlins fan here. Yeah. I didn't even know Marlins fans existed. Every time they win, they just sell the team. It's crazy. It makes no sense at all.
I'm just going to say that right now.
It's unfair. It is.
It is ridiculous. Yeah. So tomorrow, it's Marcus Stroman taking on, what's his name again? No, not Brandon Waddle. Smitty Werben. He was
Smitty Werber Jaegerman Jensen. He was number 1.
Justin Hagenman. I gotta look up the Mets prospects now. I'm gonna feel like such an idiot if he's like their top prospect. He's got to be, right? Like, let's see. They have a guy named Brandon Sproat. That is such a weird name. Okay. Hagenman? No, not a top prospect, so I can make fun of him. I say that now, and he's just gonna... He's 28? This is his first year.
We've seen it all. It doesn't matter if we were...
He's Sean
Think
Chacon.
of it this way. If we were seeing an ace out there, we would just say, well, how are we going to win this game? We've got Stroman out there. We would say the game's a loss already. That's what we'd say. I don't care who they're pitching. You guys, regardless, there's a big leaguer on the other side. What? So Virtual says, I would love Jake and Gary to address basically the point to bring Rizzo back to save the Yankees. Please.
How would that... who's playing third?
Hey, guys, I have a solution. What's the solution? Well, you remember how at first base you don't really know, like Paul Goldschmidt's kind of struggling. He doesn't really hit righties well, but then he destroys lefties, and then Ben Rice destroys righties but doesn't hit lefties. Oh, so like a platoon? Yeah, but we really want to play Ben Rice every day. Okay, well, how are you going to go about doing that? Are you going to move Goldschmidt to DH? Oh, we're going to sign Anthony Rizzo and then put him at first.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And by the way, no idea is a dumb idea. It just doesn't work for this team. It doesn't. It's a move that creates a situation where
Where is
already...
Anthony Rizzo? I thought he was on a team.
No, I think he's golfing. He was like golfing with Bob Does Sports like a few months ago.
Didn't the Red Sox sign him? And then I guess they got rid of him.
I have no idea. And he's a great dude. I mean, obviously we're rooting for the storyline, right? And what he had to go through, obviously, right, with the cancer diagnosis and all this. Of course. So you want it to work, but once you get past the point of production, you can't justify it.
I mean, who is available right now? I'm actually very curious because this was brought to our attention. I'm going to check and see if there's anybody available at third base.
Great point, Alex. Alex the GOAT says, no idea is a dumb idea except for Boone's ideas. So I'd honestly say the only thing I complain about with Boone, I really don't give a rip what he does other than his lineup construction. That's the number one thing for me. It's just such hogwash. I can't even defend it. On a night-to-night basis, I believe it's actually the reason why we're having this stretch right now is because of our lineup building, believe it or not.
That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. So there are two guys that are available at third base.
Okay.
In free agency. Heimer Candelario, who I think is done, and Patrick Wisdom.
Patrick Wisdom, the former Cub, or is a Cub, or you remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
Cub.
he's not on the team. Is he a free? He's playing for the Kia Tigers. He is in the KBO. He is not in baseball. So I don't even know if he could get out of that if he wanted to.
I just saw
shortstop.
Clayton Beater's ERA is now 16.20.
Damn. Shortstop, Tim Anderson.
Please.
Yeah, there's really not anybody.
Those players stink.
No,
You're going to have to go out there and be aggressive.
There's not a soul. There's just not. The best player that I see here. Wait, what happened to Suzuki? What? Not saying that I would pick him up because, I mean, he's literally an outfielder. I don't know what's going on.
There's nothing that we can do with an outfielder right now. There's nothing we can do with a first baseman. If the Yankees aren't bringing in a third baseman, it doesn't even make sense to bring in a second baseman. You could bring in freaking Robinson Cano, 05 Robinson Cano. It still doesn't make sense. You guys need a third baseman. You guys can't hit at the position. You can't field at the position. Do you know how much better it makes the Yankees by signing a guy whose job it is to play third base who can hit? It makes them so much better. Come on.
Yeah, there's just not. I just looked through it in free agency. There's just not really anybody available. Remember Eric Swanson? They were like, oh, yeah, you should get Eric Swanson. He's fallen off a cliff. And remember they were trying to figure him out. Who's the other pitcher they were trying to figure out? They sent him down to like single A to try to fix him.
Oh, I have no idea.
He was on the Blue Jays.
Oh, you're talking about the right-hander? Yes. No,
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking
He
about.
was
And
like
then they sent him down. They brought him back
turning
up.
into a star, and then all of a sudden, like
he did the whole
everything-
McDonald's thing. Remember, he like went to McDonald's outside the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Who was that, by the way, guys? In the chat, if you guys could help us out. Right-hander for Toronto. He was great, and this was like 5 years ago.
And
5,
like
6 years
every
ago?
Yankee fan under the sun wanted to give him a shot.
Yeah, it might have been like 4 years ago. Yeah, and
I
I
can't
understand
remember.
That. No, it wasn't Romano. No,
No,
he was a
that's not
starter.
his
No. Oh, that's just driving me nuts. These people on Apple Podcasts and Spotify are probably like, what are these two jabronis talking about right now? We're just sitting here going, who's that guy in Toronto?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't Stroman. No, it wasn't Stroman.
It wasn't strong.
It was like the heavier set dude.
Yeah, no, we
was like number
thinking about the
7.
exact same guy.
Oh, it just drives me nuts.
Say 2023.
Yeah.
That would probably be good, right? Let me check. 2023.
Heck out of here.
Okay.
No, Mania. Nope. Was it Mania?
No, it's not Mania. No, it was not Mania. It was Manoah, Alec Manoah. Oh my God, bro! I was about to lose.
I think that's what Jordan was probably trying to say.
Yeah, Manoah.
So Jordan, I will throw you up on the screen.
Pitched. No, he didn't pitch this year. He pitched last year. What happened to him?
Oh, he just couldn't figure out his command. He just totally lost it.
He's on the Blue Jays?
I don't know. I mean, he's probably under contract. They've just been sending him down. But how are we feeling for tomorrow's game, by the way?
In 2024.
Oh, he's
Poor
done.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we think's happening for tomorrow? Obviously, we have Marcus Stroman. We don't know anything. We're not going to pretend to know anything for you guys with what's going on with the Mets and this guy who's pitching. We don't know. The Yankees have to show up and do a job. You've lost 4 games in a row. You've surrendered first place to the Blue Jays, who are a good, not great team. Marcus Stroman's coming off a good start to build on. Will he repeat that performance? Everyone's going to be watching. It's an earlier game. I believe it was like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
I don't feel good about it.
At Citi Field. Everyone's going to be watching. So
the one game I think that they win is going to be the
game 2.
The Rodon start.
Is that game 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I would
agree with that. I think they could win game 3. They could, and that's going to decide the series, but I think they lose game 1 for sure.
Yeah, we probably can't afford that to happen. We're already in second place. We need to find a way. Yeah, my mom
Yeah.
obviously a huge
Biggest Strowman fan I've ever met in my life.
My mom actually was just telling me before we went live that if she wins the giveaway, and by the way, just to happily announce to you guys, if you do subscribe to our channel, you do have a chance when we pass 10,000 subscribers, we will purchase and send you the Yankee jersey of your choice, any number. If you want a name on the back, you do you. We'll let you do it, and we'll order it for you. But make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. But my mom was just telling me if she wins that competition, she's gonna go buy a Marcus Stroman jersey. So never realized how much of a fan she was until earlier today.
Yeah, never knew it, but the more you know. So yeah, any predictions for tomorrow?
Well, if the Yankees win tomorrow, I believe it'll just be total randomness. I mean, Marcus Stroman's been around. He's a veteran. He knows how to pitch. And we did say that he needs a wide strike zone to succeed, and we saw the opposite of that in his last start. It was a tight zone. He still found a way. Just one strikeout, so there's going to be contact, but I will tell you what. The Mets, it's not going to work out that way. You don't want to be pitching to contact all day to guys like Alonso, to Lindor, to Juan Soto. I mean, they've got some guys, obviously, that can make you pay. They've paid a lot of money for them, and they're currently part of their lineup and not ours. So we need something out of Stroman. Am I telling you guys to go bet on this game? I am not. So we're just going to all be spectators. Yeah.
I will say this. I think two things happen tomorrow. Home runs. Juan Soto.
Okay.
And I think Jason Dominguez. And I think this is when it starts, where Jason Dominguez starts showing some power.
I wish I felt the same way. I
If
feel like
he's not in the lineup, I'm not even gonna say what I'm gonna say. If he's not in the lineup, I'm gonna be freaking pissed.
if I were a Mets fan, I would feel a little bit more confident coming into the series than I would as a Yankees fan.
You should, if you're a Mets fan, for sure.
There's no rhyme or reason to believe the Yankees are going to come in here and take 2 of 3 or sweep the Mets. The Mets have to feel like we've been playing very bad baseball of late. We're going to turn around. We've won 2 in a row. We're back on track. And the Yankees are just flying off the tracks. And Alex says Stroman about to lock up the Cy Young tomorrow night. Okay. And Ninja Hot Dog says, gonna say it's really annoying that whenever I go to Yankees team store at the stadium, one of the jerseys they market the most are the Volpe jerseys. Yeah. Gotta.
Everything's fine.
It would be nice if they gave us some type of analytic, like jersey analytics, how much jerseys are selling. I would love to know exactly how many jerseys they're selling.
You know what would be funny? I thought of this, and this is so dumb, but it's hilarious. What if every time you put on a jersey, it automatically updated their stats on the back? So, like, you're walking around the Volpe jersey, it literally says 224 batting average.
Oh, like it's electronic?
Yeah. That'd be hilarious. Like, because you'd have
point,
people
if you're going to buy an
around.
11 jersey, I think you can, that's the thing about the Yankees. You can purchase an 11 jersey, and then if he's hitting 224, if they're like, hey, man, why would you buy a Volpe jersey? Like, this isn't Volpe, this is Dwight Gooden. What are you talking about?
There you go.
This is Brett Gardner. I have no idea what you're talking about right now. I wouldn't buy that jersey. And then when Volpe starts hitting for 3 days, like he usually does, right? He's just, I promise you guys, 8 days from now, Volpe, maybe even in this Mets series, he hasn't done a lick a month and a half. He's been hitting like 180 for a 30-game stretch. He's going to have like a 3-hit day on Saturday or tomorrow on Friday. And people are going to say, see, I'm not going to give up on this player. And then you can say it's a Volpe jersey.
Ninja Hot Dog's really not letting this thing go. Oh, man.
Stop trying to make Volpe happen. It's not going to happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Oh, I see.
Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah, this is true. Yeah, so Stephanie says that it's all basic girls that love Volpe. I don't see it.
Stephanie's just calling it like it is. Straight shooter.
I don't see it. Every once in a while, these ladies will have you out here believing these players are a heartthrob. I'm like, nah. Yeah, these, like, Dansby Swanson, I got. Like, he's got the hair and he's got the scruff beard. I got that. But when you're telling me that Volpe's now the new heartthrob and people are buying jerseys, like, they're spending big time money, $150 for an authentic jersey. and you're going to spend it on that. I mean, come on now.
See, Aaron is saying, hey, chestnut checkers.
Got to clear out the stock before they trade him.
Absolutely not. Number. That might be my least favorite player to ever grace a baseball uniform. I could not stand
rooting for him to
play.
go back to the Mets so I can see Frank the Tank just lose his mind.
He did not like him. But anyway.
He didn't like anything.
He does not like anything, no.
He's cool.
Yeah.
But what do you want him to drop in the comment section, by the way? And again, guys, please get involved in the giveaway. We can't wait to give it away. I mean, obviously, we want to get to 10,000 subs, but we also, in a way, I'm really hoping that we give this away to one of our loyalists on this show, people who are here every day, and I'm assuming that'll happen. So, yeah. Well, yeah, what do you want him, Jake, to drop in the comment section? Do you think we see Jason Dominguez? Maybe that. Is Jason Dominguez a lock to start tomorrow? Or do you think we see Cody Bellinger, Grisham, right, and Judge, and Stanton back in the lineup? Because Stanton's probably going to play tomorrow. He sat today. I'm going to assume Stanton's at DH. Ben Rice. I'm going to say Ben Rice. Ben Rice doesn't play tomorrow.
Sits tomorrow, yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's dumb. Anytime Ben Rice isn't playing, I just think you're an idiot.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I do. I don't know how we can just sit there and be like, okay with that. Ben Rice isn't playing, but he's one of our best hitters. So I don't know.
That doesn't matter. It's his day.
Anyway, it is technically the 4th of July. Everyone have a safe holiday. Obviously, we're hoping to see you after. We don't know what time that'll be because the game is at 3:10. But since the 4th of July, maybe we'll push this out like later in the night. So, yeah, we're hoping to see you guys there. But everyone stay safe. Take care. Have a great holiday. If we don't see you, we'll see you the next day. But
yeah,
I just saw the fly again.
Oh, they're all over the place. Yeah, and don't buy any fireworks. A huge waste of money. Just go watch them somewhere. And of course,
drop a comment in the drop this in the comment section. How many times you saw the fly on Gary's screen? How many times did you count throughout this podcast that you saw the fly? And of course, like the video.
Like the video.